Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for the UW System virtual career trek featuring maurices and hosted by UW Superior. We're welcoming all of our visitors today, students and staff, and our partners, of course, from maurices. Thank you too for the Career Trek Committee, co-members for several sponsoring these UW System programs, scheduling and managing the logistics for all of these career treks across the UW System campuses. Within the chat, we're going to be adding a link for an official registration that will be added here shortly. And we ask that you click on that and complete to finalize your official registration in Handshake. Again, I'll be sharing that a few times throughout the session today to ensure that any that join a little bit later will be able to see and complete that registration. In a little bit, we're also going to be launching a poll that we'll be able to share with our partners to learn about a little bit where you are coming from and how you're joining us today. A little bit about Career Treks. Career Treks are a joint initiative connecting students and our regional employer partners. It's supported by career services offices in all 13 campuses. And Treks also have the support of UW System and other state leadership who are deeply invested in supporting and encouraging career development and exploration. Treks are offered nearly every Tuesday afternoon throughout the fall semester. So Treks at 2 on Tuesdays, just about every week. So feel free to visit the full lineup of Treks that have been recorded and mark your calendar to register and attend the future Treks as well. We'll add a link as the session continues as well to be able to view some of those previous Treks that have occurred. So we warmly welcome you to sit back and enjoy the trek today. Jot down any questions that you might have to be able to unmute to ask them at the end of the presentation. And you can also share those in the chat as well, and we'll be able to help you with those. And today we are very, very pleased to welcome our employer partner, maurices, who will share information about their company, about their opportunities and their culture. So we warmly welcome Rob Hedberg and Susie Gilbertson from maurices HR team. So go ahead and take it away.
All right. Well, thank you, Thora, so much for that warm introduction, and thanks to everyone who registered and is attending today. I'm very glad to meet everyone across the way. As she mentioned, my name is Rob Hedberg, and I'm an HR specialist here at maurices, and this is my associate. Susie is our senior recruiter here at maurices. So what we plan to do today is just give you a quick overview of who we are here at maurices, what we're all about, what our story is, and then we'd love to be able to field if there's some questions towards the end, any questions that anyone might have. So I can start by sharing our screen. We just have a small presentation that can just kind of help serve as a visual guide. This isn't meant to be we have a pretty relaxed work atmosphere here, so I think our presentation will kind of reflect that relaxed style. But let's just walk through this here. So first, we'll just start by talking a little bit about us. We actually have a video that accompanies as a guide here. I'll start playing the video. If there are any sort of auditory issues that pop up, please let us know right away, and we can quickly pivot, because I know technology doesn't always like to play nice across platforms.
One of the most important values at maurices is putting people first. It's an organization that wants to really hear from the people, putting our customers and our associates first in everything that we do. The career opportunities here at maurices are endless. Personally, it's helped me gain confidence in myself. maurices allows us to be exactly who we are. I have 2 young girls at home, and I'm able to, balance that with this career that I love.
They do a great job of developing leaders.
You constantly see new training programs
teaching you how to develop your personal skills.
Duluth is awesome. Outside Magazine voted Duluth the best town ever. We go to the beach, we go to the zoo. There's so many things here to do.
Downhill skiing, hiking, kayaking, mountain biking.
The Great Lake Superior. What makes maurices authentic is that we do what we say we're gonna do, and we are who we say we are. What curious me is, how can we make things better, faster? How can we improve something? Agile means fast pace, being able to react, being flexible. Hometown style is everywhere. I grew up in a town that was less than 4,000 people, and we had a Maurices. Women everywhere love style, and Maurices brings it to them.
All right, so that that video kind of, I feel, accurately kind of encapsulates what makes Maurice's what it is, in just a couple of minutes. But what we can do is what I'd like to do next is just talk a little bit about why Duluth. Why is this billion-dollar brand based in Duluth? Well, that traces back to our beginnings. Maurice's first storefront actually opened in 1931 in downtown Duluth, just a couple blocks down from where our corporate headquarters are located now today. In 2005, Maurice's was owned by a pair of families. First, the Litz family to Duluth, and the Brennickmeyer family from 1931 up until 2005. So basically 7+ decades of a family style ownership. And then in 2005, Dress Barn Inc. Purchased Maurice's, and the two brands combined to form, Dress Barn and Maurice's combined to form Dress Barn Inc., which would later in 2011 become the Ascena Retail Group. In 2012, we expanded internationally and saw our first store open on Canadian side of the border, so we're international. We now have about 40 stores located on the Canadian side of the border, and that complements our 60 or so that are stateside. 2014 was a milestone year for Maurice's. Construction began on our headquarters, which opened 2 years later in 2016. Our 900th opened in that same year, and we're still at around that same number. In 2019, Maurice's was purchased out from the Ascena Retail Group by Op Capita, which is a UK-based capital firm. And ever since that purchase went through, Maurice's has gone back to being independent. So we have been an independent brand now for just over 3 years now. And Op Capita have been wonderful partners to work with in this new era for Maurice's. And then in 2020, so just a couple of years ago, we celebrated our 90th anniversary, and it says 90 years of in-service. Liv is the name we have for our target customers. She is really the soul of our organization is. All right, so now we'll move on to the next part of the slideshow. Susie, is there anything I've gone over that you feel was missed in that?
No, I think just a couple of things. We know Duluth is a great city. We're happy to be here. The building is new, so that's nice. Just still fresh and bright and overlooking the harbor. If you don't know where that is, right on Superior Street. And I think that's really all I wanted to add. Just
Awesome.
make sure you need that part.
Awesome. Yeah. So I'll just talk a little bit about our promise, which is what really I feel separates us in the retail sphere, which is that we inspire women to feel great fashion. That's a fortunate style experience. So quality, value, and service that leaves her feeling oh so special. And together we celebrate our hometown spirit in the communities that we love. And a lot of that ties back to how we operate as a business. So our retail business model in general is predicated on being around 45 minutes to an hour away from major metropolitan areas. And what that does for us is it allows us that opportunity to be the hometown boutique experience for our customer when she walks through the door. I've heard countless stories of some of our customers from smaller markets saying, "Oh, when I go shopping, it was Walmart or Maurice's really my two options," or maybe sometimes it might be, but that's really what we've staked our claim on, is having that hometown feel to our store. And our stylists in our stores are all getting to know our customers by name, finding out what they're shopping for that day. Maybe it's they're going to a friend's wedding and they want to look their best. Maybe they have to prepare for something not so fun, like a funeral, or caring for someone else. Yes, Thora.
I wanted to share that the audio is a little bit choppy for our listeners today. So if there's a way that we could try to connect in an alternate way, I know we tried it out perhaps with your your mic and speakers in a different way, if at all possible.
Okay, let's see here. Let me see if I can, edit our audio here. Hmm. Let's see here. Okay. Has that had any effect? Are we coming through any clearer?
It might be, we'll see as it continues on, because it wasn't constant, it was just choppy here and there. So let's give it a try.
Okay, let's see here.
All right.
Okay, well, we'll kind of proceed on and continue, but please let us know if there's any, if the audio issues persist. All right, so I'll just touch briefly on our ratings in health and safety. So Maurice's was evaluated by Retail Zipline and Coil Hospitality, and we ranked #1 in health and safety for 5 categories, including speed and convenience, signage, health and safety, sales execution, and then holiday readiness. This was especially prevalent during the last couple of years, the peak of the pandemic. Part of that, ties back to our market location, and we really have had the capacity to pivot quickly when new safety measures have been implemented. We've been able to pivot and adjust to those as need be.
I'm sorry to say that the choppiness is continuing a little bit. I don't know if we can plug in or if that would help to resolve it.
See.
Apologies for that.
No, that's quite all right.
What if we dial in?
Yeah, we'll try to dial in for audio and see if that might resolve some things. 1 second here.
The joys of technology.
Yes, exactly.
Thank you, everyone, for your patience as we continue on. I know we're getting most of the presentation today, which is really wonderful, and thank you again for your patience.
Can you hear us now?
We can, but there's an echo, so I think the other one needs to be turned muted.
Okay, let's see here. Okay, how about now?
I think that might be good.
Okay, sounds good. We are, troubleshooting in real time, and that's just, that I think that's fitting. I think that's fitting for this type of
Very
type of junction. Yeah, absolutely. Well, this map here, this map actually probably needs a little bit of updating, but each of these blue dots here are meant to represent one of our store locations across the United States and then Canada as well. And I know this is out of date because we just opened a store in Anchorage, Alaska. So we're branching out from the continental 48. So yeah, there should be a little blue dot here on Alaska, but this is just meant to signify some points of interest. So first, I'll just hover on our home office. So these photos that we're sharing on our screen here represent some points of interest within our office space. So this top left photo here is our office from street level. So that is the corner of 5th Avenue West and Superior Street in downtown Duluth. This second photo here is actually a close-up of this area here. This is our rooftop patio that's located on the 7th floor of our space. We've been very fortunate with the good weather here this past summer that space has been utilized quite frequently by our associates, and our office Wi-Fi extends all the way out to our rooftop patio. So all of our associates have a remote capacity with their workstations, and they can choose to work out in the sunshine if they so choose. Next to that, immediately to the right, is our family room, which is our large communal gathering space that we utilize for a lot of company-wide meetings, including our town halls. And the family room actually directly attaches to our rooftop patio. That's actually the patio there in the background.
And also it attaches to our cafe. Right now, Valentini's is running our cafe 3 days a week. So we feel really fortunate. We get fed well here.
Yes, Valentini's is a local Italian food restaurant and catering company. So we're very fortunate to have a local partnership and be able to support another local business in the Duluth area. Bottom left here is what's called our front porch. This is our associate break area on our 8th through 10th floors of our office space. Immediately to the right of that photo is our workout facility, which is located on the ground floor of our office space. So we offer weights, treadmills, cardio equipment, resistance weighted exercises, and then we also offer classes for our associates 3 days a week, Tuesday through Thursday. Specifically on those days, just because of our hybrid office environment, we found that Tuesdays through Thursdays are the days with the heaviest number of associates in the physical office. This photo to the right of our fitness room is a typical layout for one of our office spaces. So we have an open collaborative space with cubicles that are just below, I'd say, just below chest height, so that if someone has a question, they can easily pop up in their desk and ask the associate next to them if there's something relevant. We try and seat our business areas all next to one another who have the most collaboration and interaction. And then the bottom right photo here is the entrance to our main facility. It's our street level entrance from Superior Street. All right, and I won't click on this one because this presentation is actually outdated, but we do have a design office in New York City. The design office photographed here was our old space in Midtown Manhattan, and we have since relocated to the Williamsburg neighborhood of Brooklyn in a brand new office space on the 18th and 19th floors on Grand Street in Brooklyn. So that's a brand new open collaborative design space for our 50 or so design associates who work out of that office space. And then this photo here is just meant to represent a general layout of what our stores look like. So obviously we've done some refreshing with our floor sets since this photo was taken. But as you can see, the boutique style, the boutique styling, I should say, of our space is represented here with our design.
Yeah, we have a technology office not listed on here as well in St. Paul, Minnesota. We have the top floor of the Lawson building. And we have about 20 members of our IT team on campus there, as well as our managed service providers have a little bit of space. And then we have approximately 100 completely remote associates. So for a specific specialized positions, we are sometimes open to having the person located other than in our offices. So that's something kind of newer in the last few years.
All right. So last thing we wanted to touch on with you today is our career opportunities. And what we wanted to, I think the major takeaway we want you to have from this conversation is that careers at Maurice's are not, it's not just store careers. We as a billion-dollar business that operates across 2 countries, there's every possible area of the business you can think of, we have a need for. So of course, if fashion and merchandising is your career calling, we definitely would love to chat with you. But we also have opportunities within our HR team, finance and legal, which is kind of lumped together, along with our real estate team is lumped together with finance and legal. Store experience, so those are the ones who are ensuring that Liv is having the best possible experience as a customer, and that our associates are also taken care of as well, because our first value as a company is people first, and we know that the people who make up this company are what make it so great. So marketing and omni-channel is another area of the business. IT, as Susie was mentioning, in their space. Our IT associates are kind of split between our Duluth and St. Paul campuses, but there is a lot of frequent collaboration between the two. And then our integrated product team, those are the designers, the merchandisers, and the sourcing team. So you know, if that's what speaks to you as well, we'd love to have a conversation. So the main takeaway is that we are more than just clothing.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. I think, you know, one thing I like to talk about as well is within our integrated product team, we have a lot of financial planning type positions that really sit right next to a merchant, helping them understand, you know, what it is that they're about to purchase and how that ties in with previous sales and future sales and that type of thing. So I like to remind people that sometimes you get to, you know, touch the product, but also have an extremely analytical role too. And sometimes they're hidden throughout the different areas in the company. But we do have a full, you know, full gamut of things to offer for careers here. And I don't think we've mentioned yet, but there's about 290 people attached to the Duluth building. So we have about 290 people working a hybrid schedule, like Rob said, mostly coming in on Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. Since the pandemic, we've kind of adjusted. Most of us work in the office about 60% of the time and work remotely about 40, depending on what role you have. So that's something that's been working well for us too.
Absolutely. All right, and then I'll just touch briefly on our benefits. So our guiding philosophy is a better you, a better Maurices, and we reflect that in the benefits package that we provide for all of our associates. So we do provide health, dental, and vision insurance, with pharmacy, of course, attached to that. We do have a 401k that our associates are eligible after 6 months, and there is an employer match that comes with that. And then we also have optional benefits that associates can utilize as well. And I wanted to highlight our employee assistance program, which we provide for all of our associates in order to make sure that they're taking care of themselves, both not only physically, but also mentally as well. We are able to offer 5 free mental health counseling sessions for all of our associates. And that can be utilized for anything, whether it's, you know, if there's family issues taking place, stress management, workload management. The counseling can be used for any mental health issues that the employee might be going through at that time.
And of course, the 40% off discount.
Yeah, cannot miss that. It's a great incentive to be able to offer for all of our associates. All right. So that basically concludes our presentation. So Thora, I would love to be able to open it up for any questions that our audience members might have.
Yes, certainly. Participants are very welcome to unmute and ask your questions, or you can pop them in the chat and we can do that on your behalf as well.
So maurices.com/careers is where all of our roles are located. Rob's putting that in the chat right now. You can find both Rob and I, if you go to the Maurices page on LinkedIn, you can find both Rob and I pretty easily attached to it. We'd love to get to know you if you're interested in working in Duluth, Minnesota, or if you're elsewhere and looking for a career in fashion, or just a career at a great corporate environment in the Twin Ports. We'd love to talk to you.
And I dropped the careers page and then our contact information both in the chat for anyone who would like to follow up and reach out after today's conversation. We're more than happy to chat with you all.
Megan said she worked at Maurices for a couple of years and it was her favorite job up till this day. That's pretty common. If you have worked for Maurices before, please know that we love our boomerang associates. We bring people back all the time. So
all the time.
We love it. We love that. It's a great community here, and we stay close to the people we love and welcome everybody back on campus.
We did get another question in the chat. They're curious about what drew you to both join the company, and describing your journey to where you are right now a little bit.
Sure. Susie, why don't since you got here first, why don't you?
I did get here first. I actually I had a strong retail recruiting career in the Twin Cities, and I thought that I needed to just get out of the rat race, is what I was calling it at the time. And I moved to northern Wisconsin to my brother's beef cattle farm to escape not only corporate but retail. Then the Maurices found my resume that I wasn't even active about anymore and asked me to come in for an interview. And I thought it would probably be most responsible to not throw a whole entire career away. So I answered, and I came in kind of with a little chip on my shoulder thinking, there's no way I'm going to do this again. There's just no way I'm going to do this. Well, right away I thought these are really nice people. And then thought, well, I guess, I do know how to recruit, so I guess I'll go ahead and take a chance on these nice people. And here I am, just 4.5 years later, still thinking the same thing. So they brought me out of my retail corporate retirement, early retirement, and back onto the campus. And honestly, I think there's a lot of us in that pocket. I bring that up because I think, you do get, a little thought of what it's like to work inside of a company our size. And then Maurice's kind of throws all that out of the door and lets us have our individuality and have our ability to make an impact and have a voice and, whatever it is that, kind of makes us tick. But that's my story of how I got to Maurice's, and now good luck to anyone trying to pull me away.
Yeah. And then for me, I had been in a few admin roles in my early career, just kind of learning the ropes of business operations and whatnot. And my position at a role I held was eliminated due to COVID. And when the pandemic first started, and I wanted a career path that was a little bit more sustainable as far as, always being needed. And I realized that HR was kind of what I wanted to do. So I actually plugged for the UW Superior HR Management Certificate Program. I completed that program in 2020 through 2021, that cohort. And once I wrapped up that program, I knew it was time to start pounding the pavement. And I applied at Maurice's for an HR specialist role. And Susie here was actually my first conversation and my first introduction. And I knew after that first conversation with her that Maurice's was somewhere that I wanted to work. And thankfully the hiring team for the role agreed. And I've been here for almost a year and a half at this point.
Great, thank you. That's wonderful to hear that story. That helps students imagine for themselves too what their journeys could look like. Another question that came in, what recommendations might you share with students that can help them prepare now to be career ready for their future internships and after graduation?
I always think there's a couple of things that are great to think about. I think, we're all used to being on social media and, what is it called? Trolling through things, right? I think LinkedIn is a really good thing to troll through. I think, switch out one of your logins with another social media for LinkedIn once a day and start looking at job titles, things that you're studying, people that you admire. Look at what they've done. Where did they start their career? How has that journey looked like? I think that, connect with them, ask them questions. I think that's a really good place to start. Just, thinking about how career journeys can go, that's a lot of information you could mine into there. I think also, anyone that's willing to kind of grab onto you and mentor you through this time is good. So don't be afraid to connect with a professional that's going to be able to tell you their story, just like mine and Rob's. But most of us, and especially in HR, are more than willing to just kind of help someone understand what it's like to take that transition. Rob, help me out here. I think there's lots of things, but there's talk.
Yeah, the list is longer than I could probably run through in a minute or two. But
yeah.
I think part of it too is once you have kind of focused in on what you want to do, what I like to say and I might be even plagiarizing some of your advice, Susie, but help connect the dots for where you're applying. So if there's I would say, I know it takes more effort, but read the job description for every position that you're applying for. Look for those identifiers that are specifically listed in a role, and then kind of cater your resume as far as to what those things that they're looking for. Help connect the dots for the person who's reviewing, because Susie and I we're looking at, we could look at 100 resumes in a day, and we really want to be able to spend as little time on each resume as possible. So, if you can help connect the dots for us, it helps us in the long run, and it'll help anyone who's helping fill for a role in the long run. So, and then, I'd say just do a little bit of homework on each employer that you want to work with, kind of learn what they're about. And, I think that's the most important thing is knowing where you're applying for. You don't have to have an encyclopedic knowledge of the place, but just having some familiarity can kind of help with that initial conversation as well.
Yeah, I think what Rob was saying, connect the dots. I think just to make it more practical, sometimes someone has worked or just graduated, but has maybe retail experience in their past, but they're applying for a marketing job, right? But for us, a retail company, having that retail experience on your resume shows us like, hey, what a SKU is in a store, what that signage looks like. So sometimes just thinking, putting your mind in that job description and what is it that I have that I can drum up and highlight to make myself look good for this company, this position. So that's what Rob's saying, just to put it a little bit more practical, highlight something that might not be obvious. It's a marketing job. Why would retail fit in, right? But it's a retail company, so that would make sense. Sometimes leadership skills comes outside of your, maybe you have an undergrad job or a college job that you've been doing where you've managed people, and that's something else. People don't think that it's worth putting on your resume, but it is. It's just things that build you up to who you are today.
And along those lines, can you share maybe a little bit about your applicant tracking system Workday, and if there's specific tips that you might share with candidates to keep in mind so they can navigate that successfully?
Yeah, I'll start with one really big one. The fancier your resume, the less your applicant tracking system is going to read it. So the less fancy that you put into it, the better off you are. I love pretty resumes, don't get me wrong, but what's happening is they're pulling the information, just the letters themselves, the alphabet. They're pulling the alphabet off of your resume and putting it onto a system, and that gets really jumbled sometimes or lost. So, really just, not a lot of pictures, graphics, stick to the standard format if that's, otherwise you can manually enter every single detail if you want. But if you want to take your resume and have it just feed into the system, that's my number one biggest piece of advice. And that's not just Workday, that's any applicant tracking system I've ever worked on. So I'd say that to me, like, that's very important. I think also once you've had a conversation with a recruiter, it's not necessary to apply to every single position that you see. It's better for you to go back to your recruiter and let them help you work through it. That's one, one piece that I would say is, if you've got a relationship with a recruiter, work with that recruiter, and they'll help guide. That's not a Workday question, but if you're applying to a ton of things, it's hard for every hiring manager to understand what you really want to do. And they're looking at resumes the same time we are sometimes. So just getting really intentional. And then, even if the position you apply for isn't right, your recruiter can help you work through that.
Yeah.
Those are kind of the biggest ones that I do for the system itself.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's a couple more that came in the chat asking about Maurice's opportunities with information technology, and then also HR job opportunities in multiple states as well.
Absolutely.
Sure.
So
yeah, let's talk about the internships first. We haven't.
Yeah. And so internships, yes, we do. We actually do have a summer internship program that we participate in every summer, and we're still determining exact business areas for summer 23, but we did have an IT intern last year, and in all likelihood, we'll probably have one again this year. So job postings for that will likely be going up sometime. For specific internships, will likely be going up later in the winter, and then we'll get those cross posted on Handshake as well too. Yeah. So thank you, Thora. And then. For HR job opportunities in multiple states, our HR team here at Maurice's is all based in Duluth, Minnesota, and then we do have, I think we have one or two associates who might work remotely within our team, but the majority of them, but even those remote associates would be Twin Cities based, so still regional. So I think that's kind of a point of pride for us in having having our entire HR team located here in Duluth, and that includes our HR support center providing support to our 900 stores. Great
Any additional
question.
questions at all?
I'm sorry. I didn't hear you, Thora.
Oh, just checking to see if there's any additional questions
Okay.
from the group. Okay, well, thank you again for everyone for joining us today, all the participants, and of course, Rob and Susie, thank you for joining us from the Maurice's team and for continued partnership with UW Superior. We're in the Twin Ports, so Duluth and Superior right across the bay from one another. And so we do feel like one community, certainly. Thank you again for the UW Career Committee for their work in developing and continuing this series of UW System Career Treks. It has been recorded and it will be available next week on the Career Trek website, and I'll pop that in the chat here as well. And thank you everyone for joining us today, and we hope that you have a wonderful rest of the semester.